Yo. Peace. What's happening, good people? This gift here for Pay Us No Mind. And today we are talking about selling music direct to fan and why I think it is not the best alternative to Spotify and what I think that artists should be doing instead. But we're going to break down all of the aspects of why I don't think it's the best thing and some of these arguments that are, or not arguments, but some of this, I would say, marketing that's being presented to artists to sell them on the idea of it, right? So those are things that we're going to talk about today. Now, for those that don't know how this go, I run my mouth about the topic at hand for the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then we get into the live chat where everybody get to ask questions and all of that good stuff. Now, I'm going to check the system, make sure we're good to go. Then we're going to dive into the topic at hand. All right, y'all? Okay. Yeah, man. Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure this whole system is good to go. And it's not Shoppiesville. Because that's no fun. All right. Bluetooth is connected. All right. Okay. All right. So, now listen. A lot of folks, man, are talking about this whole selling music direct to fan thing. And what you see is a lot of success stories, right? Where somebody says, hey, man, I decided to sell my music direct to fan and here's how much I made. Now, the reality of the situation when I think about it is, I'm like, what's the goal here, right? It's like your goal, or I know my goal, if I'm a musician, my goal is to make a living off of my music, not to make more money than I make from Spotify. That's not the goal. So it's like Spotify could pay you $5. And if you make $100, then, hey, look, I made more money than I made from Spotify. But my goal isn't to make more money than I make from Spotify. My goal is to make a living. That's my goal. So at the end of the day, if you're making $300 and I'm like, yo, stop doing that and do this thing that can help you make $600, but your rent is $1,000, no matter what, you still aren't making enough money to pay your rent, So it's like no matter if you're making 300 or 600, you still can't afford to pay your rent. You get evicted and you're out on the street. So it's like, that's not the goal, Now, the reality of the situation is that every artist starts off the same. They start off in the same wheelhouse. Hold on. Yeah. So every artist starts off in the same wheelhouse. They start off with friends and family, like those old cell phone plans, right? The friends and family plan. That's where every artist starts off on, the friends and family plan. And that's what you got. So at the end of the day, an artist steps out and says, you know what? Screw Spotify. I'm going to sell my music direct to fan. But for the vast majority of artists, they're not selling music direct to fan. They're selling music directly to friends and family. So they step out. And then it's like, okay, if you have 100 supportive friends and family members and you sell an album for $10 a pop, you make $1,000. So you look at that and you say, wow, I made $1,000. But the reality of the situation is it's unsustainable. And it's unsustainable largely because of the motivation behind why those people bought it. It's not a matter of supplying demand. It's a matter of a group of people saying, yo, man, I know him. I want to see him do well. I'll buy this to support him. And a lot of those people might not even listen to it. That music might end up getting the CD. If it's a CD, it might end up getting used as a coaster or something to that effect, and it does you no good if the music doesn't move. That's the main thing that you need, is for the music to circulate and spread, and for this person to talk about it and stuff like that. So if somebody buys it and leaves it sitting in their closet, or even if they listen to it, but it's not connected to anything, then doesn't help you all that much. So you made $1,000. But then on the other end, it's like, can you do that every month? Can you come out with another album next month that they'll all buy? Or even 4 months from now that they'll all buy? Probably not. And me being around the block a few times, I've seen this happen a lot, where artists come out with a project, they make a big deal about it. All of the friends, we all rally around them and support it first time. And then the next time, they go back to the well and nobody supports it because everybody felt like they did their duty buying the first one. Like, dude, I'm not a fan. I did it to support you. And I did my duty as a friend or as a family member. So now future releases, I don't feel obligated to go out and spend my money on this music that I don't really want just to support you. So it's like, the reality is like, you got rent every month. You got electric bills every month. So it's like, not can you come out with a project now and get a few friends and family to buy it where you make more money than you made off of Spotify in this 1 month or in 2 weeks, but then next month, zero. And the month after that, zero. And the month after that, zero. And that's like the reality of a lot of these people right now that's talking about selling music direct to fan. They step out, they sell to a few supporters that they have initially, and then after that, everything dries up. But they have that one success story that they could come to you and say, hey, look, I did this. Look at what it did for me. And then maybe sell you a course or something like that on it. But the reality of the situation is this, man. Right? That stuff is kind of like covert donations. For the most part, man, they might as well start like a starving artist fund or something like that. Only you can save a starving artist, because again, it's not based in demand. It's not people who want the music and then supplying a demand of people who want the music. And a lot of it is evidenced by the fact that, like, you think about this right now, right? Let me check something. Like, a lot of this is evidenced by the fact that you think about it from the standpoint of how this music, or how the music is pitched and marketed for sales. When you do digital distribution for a release, like if you do digital distribution for a release right now, that release is going into streaming platforms and stores. It's not just going to streaming platforms. It's also going into iTunes. It's also going into Amazon MP3 and stuff like that. So if somebody wants to buy your music, they can. So if your music is not selling, it's because people don't want to buy it. So what happens with this on-demand stuff is somebody comes out and they make a pitch. They say, hey, you know what? Spotify doesn't pay me enough money for me to make a living as an artist. The only way I'm going to survive is if you guys buy my music directly. Don't you care about me? Don't you want me to survive? You don't want me to starve, do you? And then people say, nah, man, I don't want you to starve. Well, how can I help? Right? And you say, you could help me by buying my music direct to fan. Now, that works when it's one artist that does it. But what happens when every artist starts with the same hustle? And you got, every time you turn around, another artist is saying, oh, Spotify, if you guys just support me, then it gets It gets like those old Nigerian prince scams where we get the emails where somebody talks about a Nigerian prince and send money to my bank account and all this other stuff. It's like, I'm pretty sure those worked once upon a time. Once upon a time, when the first few people that got those emails, some of those folks was like, oh, well, that's a person in Nigeria, a prince. But after the third or fourth email with the same pitch, people was like, oh, this is a scam. All of these Nigerian princes, how many princes they got in Nigeria? It's like once everybody starts doing it, then the well dries up. And again, a lot of this stuff is not rooted in demand. It's not like people are like, give me an album. Give me an album. It's people saying, hey man, can you support me, making this plea of support. And that's not a business. That's like I said again, it's charity. It's covert charity, right? So it's like, yeah, man. So it's like, that's one end of it, right? The covert charity aspect of it, the friend support aspect of it. But on the other end, you have the aspect of impact and what those sales mean long term. So in the short term, sell to 100 friends, make $1,000, great. But like I said, if those people just listen to the music in their house, it does nothing for you. So the thing with streaming platforms and music stores and things of that nature is that those things have an ecosystem. There's an ecosystem. So it's like if you put a song up in iTunes and your song gets sales, right? Like a lot of sales, let's say even 100 sales, that could trigger something to where you could end up on a top releases of the day chart, or end up being marketed to somebody on their personal homepage within iTunes. And because you got some sales, now you are being pushed to new people to get more sales. And that consistently happens in your sleep. It's not something that you need to keep doing to keep that fire burning. Then on top of that, there is streaming and their whole algorithm where you get a few people to listen and then it pushes the music out to more people and just continues to expose your music to more and more people, helping to promote you. So those things have ecosystems. You get something, you get a little something in, and then they take over and help push it to more people because they like, oh, people value this. We can take this data, analyze it, find more people like those people, spread it out and expand, and you grow. Now, the value and growth is there's more money in it, right? So it's like your goal shouldn't be in these early stages to get sales or streams. That shouldn't be the goal. The goal is really to build a brand. That's what your goal should be, to build a brand and to make people aware of your brand, because it's more money in having an established brand than it is in sales and streams. So it's like, I go back to Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga dropped that album, right? Born This Way. She dropped that album. She sold it for $1. Why did she sell a whole album that she could have sold for at least $10 for $1? She sold it for $1 because it was a ploy to make sure that that album went number one on the charts, right? And she got a number one album. And they changed the Billboard, or they changed the rules around charting after that album. But that was the goal. So it's like she sacrificed like $9 million to get a number one album. Why? Because with a number one album comes recognition, comes prestige. And from those things, you get this big brand of Lady Gaga, where now movies, TV shows, appearances, sponsorships, features, all of these things. And like Fat Joe say, where he's like, yesterday's price is not today's price, and all of that different type of stuff. Yesterday's price is not today's price once you have something that succeeds. Be it on streaming, be it in iTunes, if it's an ecosystem that people recognize because it's easy to track the balances, people know if a song is popping in iTunes, they trust iTunes and that system to be like, this is real. If something pops in Spotify or Apple Music, they know that system to know that this is real. Nobody knows how many records you sold on your website. Nobody knows that. That's just between you and your wallet. That's it. So it doesn't extend to anything. So you are not in a position to where you can make that extra money from all of these other sources. And it's way more money, if I'm being real with you, in those other sources. So it's like people getting paid a whole bunch of money for one post on social media. Like, even from, I would say, like, I go back to something like the crypto space, Hold on. So I go back to something like this, the crypto space and cryptocurrency, like NFTs and things of that nature. Like, people see an artist come out with an NFT and they say, if the NFT flop and they don't sell nothing, they say, aha, look at that guy. He didn't sell anything. And what they don't know is that on the back end, he didn't need to. The company that made the NFT or the platform paid him $30,000, $40,000, some of these guys $1 million to drop a collection on their platform to bring attention to it. So effectively, they licensed their name. That's what they did. They licensed their name to have the ability to be able to leverage it to bring attention to their NFT collection or their NFT platform or their blockchain or something like that. So it's where you have these artists who are like, you can sell direct to fan. It's like, build a name and then you can lay in your bed and make money off of that name. Like, artists can sell ad spots on their videos directly, product placements, all sorts of stuff that an artist can do once they build a brand. And that should be the focus. The focus should be to build a brand, not so much to focus on, getting, because like I said, again, it's short-term money. It's not long-term money, and people say, well, if you got 1,000 fans and listen, man, we are not in an age where people need to buy music. It's not essential, So if people are putting money in your pocket to buy your music, it's because of charity, and charity can run out, where people say, okay, well, I got other things going on. I can no longer afford to donate, or everybody's asking me to donate. I can't give money to everybody. I'm going to just stop. It's one thing when it's the practice back, like when people were selling CDs and everybody's just buying CDs and selling CDs and things of that nature. Then it's like, oh, this is just what you do with music consumption. But now everybody's streaming. Nobody's buying anything. So to think that people are going to go back to that, it's kind of crazy, man. So yeah, that's something that I wanted to get off my chest. Yeah, man. So it's like, when it comes to music sales and music consumption, I feel like, especially with where we're going with like AI and things of that nature, man, it's like, dude, AI is a problem. Because one thing, it's a major problem for streaming. So what happens is everybody can now make music. And it moves away from something that for some people was a hobby to where you had people who would be like rapping in private, rap singing in the shower, things of that nature. But technology gives everybody the possibility of being able to do it, right? And with that, I would say the most impactful aspect of that is the fact that for a lot of people, it becomes a matter of resentment, because they no longer look at somebody who's more talented as somebody that they'll become a fan of. They look at that person that's more talented as somebody that's taking away an opportunity for them to succeed. So it's like, if I'm just the spectator and a listener and you play me an amazing song, I'm like, oh my God, this song is amazing. I love this guy, right? If I am somebody who's trying to make music and get my music out there and make money off of it too, and I know that if people listen to you and a new standard is established to where people are like, oh my God, this is how music is supposed to sound, then it becomes more difficult for me to succeed. So now I'm not like, oh my God, let me help this guy and share his music and stuff. I'm like, I don't want nobody to know this guy exists because this is going to make it more difficult for me. And that's what happens when we had that dumbing down of music and everybody able to make it. But now with AI, it turns it up a notch to where now it's like people don't even need to learn how to use Fruity Loops or anything like that. You got things like Udio where people can go in and type in a text prompt and say, yo, give me a song about a girl from Idaho who's lonely. And it'll create a whole song, lyrics, instrumental, the whole nine, everything. 100% song. And it ain't bad. So people can take that song and then go and put it on streaming platforms and stuff like that and make money from it. So it's like in that wheelhouse, it becomes more about having a brand and being able to make money off of licensing that brand, be it to people who want to leverage your name to sell a product or people who want to leverage your name to sell their music. Because when you build a name in music, then it becomes valuable. That's like back in the days when you had celebrity artists hosting hosting mixtapes and stuff like that, where they would do it, you have to pay them for like a mixtape drop or something to that effect. You know, now I got friends, they making money doing features, things of that nature, because on streaming platforms, they're in the algorithm. So people know if I collaborate with this guy, this is gonna help my music get out there. They know that. So it's worth investing in having this guy jump on your track because you know what it's going to do for you. The same thing with having somebody host an album or do a skit on an album, anything where you could connect their name to what you're doing to infiltrate the algorithm on iTunes or on Spotify or whatever have you. You go out there, you collaborate with these artists that got a name, you develop a name, and then you can leverage your name, you know, and then you got the AI thing where rather than it being a situation where you got to write a song for somebody, an artist can go out and make an AI replica of themselves and call it like how Grimes got Grimes AI or whatever have you. And then you do songs with the AI version of yourself to get it into the algorithm. And then you basically allow people to buy verses from your AI replica. And then it's not even a matter of you having to write verses. They could write the verse and just have the AI replica recite it. And now you're making money in your sleep off your AI replica without having to write or record anything. So, and this is where the future is going, you know? So if we're talking about future proofing your music career and stuff like that, it's like people selling music, that's gonna be dead, you know? Over with. Streaming is going to be so much music that it's just going to kill streaming revenue. The money is going to be in having a brand and licensing your brand. Somebody say, hey, Drake, everybody knows Drake. Everybody knows Drake's voice. He's worth paying X amount of money to use his voice to sing this song or to use this voice to voice over this cartoon character or something like that, because people know his voice, they value his voice. So that's where the money is going to be, man. The money's going to be in licensing. So what you need to focus on is having something unique about yourself that you could present to the world, and then getting it out to the world, be it through advertising, be it through stepping outside and shaking hands and kissing babies. Whatever it is, expose it, selfless, shameless, self-promotion, every opportunity you get, because people have to know your name. People have to know your face. Those are the two main things, name and face. And if you get everybody to know your name and know your face and associate it with a particular thing, be it, hey, where we do socially conscious hip hop or gospel rap or whatever it is, they connect it to one of those things, you would be in a much better position with something like that than you would be in with selling music direct to fan. even though that's like the new wave where everybody is trying to be like, look what I'm doing. You know, you don't want to just play the monkey see, monkey do game. You want to be ahead of the curve. All right, y'all. So yeah, man, I just wanted to tap in and say that. Other than that, man, I'm a get up out of here. Unless people want to tap in, y'all got something y'all want to share, something y'all want to talk about. You know, I mean, yeah, I'm about to go watch the game. Word up, yo. But yeah, let me right quick. Let me shout out Jose. What's good, man? Clevo Mac, what up? T Lamont, what's good? Normalized Audio, what's up, man? Word, yo. If y'all want to hit me up, as always, y'all can. At PayUsNoman on Instagram. At PayUsNoman on Twitter. PayUsNoman@gmail.com. This is Gift signing off. Pay us no mind. Peace, good people. One.